Hey, Neen.
Forged in the lockdown. Hello and welcome to Critical Questions, the Unfathomable quiz. I've trawled the internet for the best, worst, most interesting and ridiculous dumb questions I can find. And with any luck, my guests will be able to answer all of them. Today we have got with us Chris.
Hello.
TV. Distracted by the chat. Scientist Mel.
Hi. Thanks for having me on again. I don't know why you're such a masochist.
The chat loved you. Chad.
Hello.
Jenny Late Bitch, who wasn't late.
Well, I kind of was.
And the Lone Wanderer.
The humbug.
We have a disturbing number of educational type people on today. Okay, we have Chad,
Get ready
who's
to
a
learn
teacher.
something.
We have Mel, who is basically a professor. We have Chris as a tutor. We've got Jenny, who is lecturing this year. And I bet your Lone Wanderer's done something, but I've no idea what.
Yeah, but I did fail high school. I dropped out and everything, so, you know.
I don't
Meh.
I wouldn't worry about that. I really wouldn't. There's, not a common knowledge thing, but I had to drop out of college twice. I have a whole year of nothing but flat Fs. So it's like my GPA is in the tank, but I still managed 2 postgrad degrees with 3.8 average in my graduate studies. So
I
that's
failed.
not a measure, man.
I failed Chem 100 twice at UW.
Oh no, dude! Were you trying? Were you trying, or you just didn't care?
I couldn't cope with the math. Math and I shouldn't be in the same room together.
It happens. It happens.
My mom can't do fractions. She hates fractions, but she can actually calculate percentages in her head at like a store. And I'm like, you realize
She's a witch.
Yeah, I can do that too.
It's just
You're a witch.
that's algebra. That's the same thing as algebra. And she's like, nope,
I
nope,
can't do
that.
colors.
You say you can't do colours.
Yeah, so if you say like what you say, Chris, what color is this frog? I'll be like, it's like purple. I don't know what's wrong with my brain.
You're going to have a problem with one of my questions tonight.
It might be your eyes.
All right.
Right, first question. Question 1143. What is the best ice lolly?
Say that again.
What's
the best ice lolly?
It's
Yeah.
a popsicle for Americans out there.
Yeah.
Could it be ice cream on a stick, or it has to be like not
It
ice
can
cream?
be a Magnum, or it can be an ice cream on a stick.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
The stick
Okay,
is the requirement here. So,
Oh, well, I already have my answer. My favorite one is that one that's like white on a popsicle stick, and it's like the American flag colors. It's like red, white, and blue.
Like
I love that thing.
Bomb
the rocket
pop.
ones.
Oh, bomb pops, yeah.
The rocket.
That's a bomb pop, man.
Yeah.
That's the name. I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, it's a bomb pop.
Yeah, I like that. I haven't had one since I was probably like 7 years old. I don't know.
Oh.
I always wondered if somebody could make a vibrator in that shape.
Probably.
I
There
think there
might be-
probably is
Again,
one out there. There
baddragon.com.
probably is.
A bomb pop vibrator, Jenny.
Hey,
Yeah, red, white, and blue,
Sugar
just like the real thing.
Really, all you need is the mold and some medical grade silicone, and then you can color it what you want, and that'd be okay.
Mhm.
You
Well,
want
there you
medical
go.
grade
The
silicone.
word need is
Oh,
strong.
yeah.
It's not standard, isn't it?
So I couldn't use bathtub caulk, huh?
Funny thing, when I
Let
was
it
in grad
set.
school, I had to buy silicone caulk for a thing that I was doing. We were generating a micro device for a breast cancer test, and I was experimenting with different ways to where I could cover this 3D printed device to where we'd have isolation of the wells, and there was no crossover of fluids for samples and stuff. So I tried wax, I tried all these things. So and things had a certain signature on the fluorescence into where it would light up and mess up our readings and stuff. So I had to go with like pitch black stuff. So I was often at like a DIY store or a Home Depot or whatever, and I was picking up black silicone caulk. And so when people come into my lab, I'm like, would you like to look at all the black caulk I have on my bench? And so- They go, what? What I have on my bench? And they're like, oh, what do you think I said?
You're into what? Oh,
That's
no.
right. S. Riddich says DQ Dilly. I have no idea what that is. Wayne says Rainbow Rocket Pop. Go on.
Can I show you what the DQ dilly is?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm familiar. See, for me, I'm thinking back to like. See, I know what I'd get if I go to the store right now, but for some reason, I'm going back to my childhood. Do you guys know what Dickie D is or no?
No.
Oh, a what?
Okay. In where I grew up, or where I am, anyways. Back in the '90s, anyways, there was these. Basically, was a summer job for high school students or university students. And they would just bike around the city on a little bike that had a ice box in the front, and they would just be ringing a little bell going around the city. And right now, if I could have anything, they had some kind of ice cream. It was like a baseball glove with a gumball in the middle.
I know what you're
And I'm just
talking
really
about.
hankering one right now.
Thinking about that too. Yes, it's
I
like
was hankering
bubblegum
one.
flavored stuff. It's usually like a fruit-based kind of flavor, and then
Yeah.
like, oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I gotcha.
I wouldn't get a box for them, but right now I really want one.
Does our answer have to have a stick in it?
This is the DQ dilly.
With an ice lolly, so.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a nice lolly, yeah. It's almost a Magnum.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of like a Magnum, but it's round and there's a stick in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think those taste very good. It's just like
But
crappy.
what about
chocolate.
Klondike bars?
How much are you getting paid for
Yeah,
this?
yeah. Oh yeah, Klondike. I'm
Yeah, but what about
What have
Klondike
you
bars?
done?
30 cents.
It's like Star Trek.
Woohoo!
So a
money.
stick is required. Is that correct? I just
Yes.
gotta get this straight.
Yeah,
It must be
God.
frozen on a stick.
frozen on a stick. What have we got here? Nerdy says Twisters. Mama Atheist says I chocolate eclair one. Chocolate eclair on a stick? Godless Sewing says big sticks are amazing. I've never heard of that one. S Reddit says Dairy Queen Dilly Bar.
Mhm.
And then now they're talking about black cock.
Got another dilly?
Klondike doesn't have a stick.
No, but the dilly
Yeah.
bar is like a Klondike with a stick.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not. But like, it's not very good. Is it? The chocolate, you can't even taste it, can you? It tastes like plastic.
It's not that great.
Nerdy says, if I sit in the fridge with a stick up my arse, does that count? No.
Yes, yes it does.
No, it doesn't.
We said frozen
Well,
on
it
a
would,
stick.
it would count if somebody would eat you afterwards.
I'm willing to live with some.
I think it counts as long as you're in the freezer.
I
Jen
have
says
a
bananas.
question.
Go on.
Okay, so does it have to be like ice cream? Because there's a thing. So I live out in the South, and we have like county fairs and stuff. And the food sometimes is great, and other times it's terrible, like deep fried Oreos and Snickers bars and Twinkies. I don't eat that because I don't want to have a heart attack while I'm at the fair. Because people die at the fair. Yeah, that's what it says.
Because of the food.
Does
From the
actually happen. But I like the frozen bananas that are dipped in chocolate and covered in nuts, man.
Do they
That
put them on a
stuff.
stick?
They put them on a
Yes,
stick.
they
Do
put
they
the
freeze them?
banana-
Do they freeze
put-
them?
They do. They take frozen
Do they freeze
bananas
them?
on a stick, dip it in chocolate, and roll it in nuts. It is the most
You-
amazing thing.
You guys need to grow up. You're talking about nuts and like.
But okay, bananas and nuts are not the same thing as your mind, Mister like gutter brain.
There's only one person in the gutter right now.
Yes,
Mel,
the chocolate
Mel, where
banana. Wayne the boat guy gets it. You'd be
Yeah.
like walking down. It's really hot in the South. You've been on like one of them rides that make you want to vomit if you've had nachos, and then you go and get you a taco banana. And
Yeah, the
one of
chocolate
those
banana.
giant lemonades. you know?
Stool says Scientism Mel likes hard banana with big nuts. She never specified the size of the nuts.
These
Dave,
are
you're
these are
such a
crushed
professional.
nuts, so they're probably more like Stool's jam.
Yeah.
Crushed nuts for Stool.
You guys are just all too complex. I like simple. Just give me a dreamsicle.
What's a dreamsicle?
It's like an orange popsicle wrapped around vanilla ice cream.
Yes.
See, here's the thing. I'd just go with an orange lolly. Preferably a slightly more citrusy, maybe a lemon. Just a simple lolly with a decent flavour.
That's why I was saying I only wanted the one of the glove thing, because if I'm going to the corner store, I'm getting just a chocolate popsicle.
Yeah.
Like just chocolate flavored frozen popsicle, but not like a Magnum with actual chocolate, just chocolate flavored popsicle.
Yeah.
Just
But
Oh,
You
the-
mean like
what
a
about
fudge, like a
about the-
fudgesicle?
Yeah, the fudge.
Yeah,
not like a
Fudgsicle.
fudgesicle. A chocolate
Fudgicle.
flavored
I say
popsicle.
fudgicle too.
okay, Chad. But you gotta
Yeah.
admit though. So
I'm done talking about.
you remember those those fun little ice cream cones with the chocolate at the bottom of the cone? Those Sunday
Yeah.
cones, you know what I mean? That you
But
could
the
only
ones
get
that come, the
from
ones
the
that
ice
come with the
cream
paper,
man.
like they're wrapped in paper.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
those little Sunday cones, those are great, but they don't have sticks.
That's not an iced lolly. The issue.
That's
Yeah.
not an
I'm
ice
with ya.
lolly.
If I could go cone over a stick, I'm definitely with you. But we're talking sticks here. So.
Yeah, we are talking
Okay.
sticks.
Oh, this is it. Math Pig said strawberry cornetto is the best and he'll fight us. But he can't have a strawberry cornetto because it's not enough
Cornetto
fucking stick.
strawberry?
Yes.
If you take the stick requirement away, I would go for Choco Taco.
We're not taking
Oh
stick
yeah,
requirements
those are
away.
amazing.
Oh my god, those are great.
Aren't they? Yeah.
Hey, okay,
Got to have a stick.
Frozen chocodiles and frozen Twinkies, guys. If you
Do
haven't
they have
done
sticks?
that,
Do they have sticks?
they don't have sticks, but you should do it anyway. Take you a Twinkie box and throw it in the freezer. You will thank me.
Okay, I'll do that.
I think all
I like
all
Twinkies.
chocolate and candy is better cold. I'm just going
A
to throw
lot,
that
a
out
lot
there.
of chocolate is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Give me more
Stool
snap.
says a cider lolly.
Cider lollies, like if you
Yes.
take like alcoholic cider and freeze it and eat it
Yes.
that way.
We used to make vodka and Coke lollies when I was a kid.
I don't know
Slightly
if it's
older.
possible to freeze alcohol. Is it?
You can
Yeah,
freeze alcohol.
Yeah, you can.
I mean the vodka and Coke ones we had didn't tend to 100% freeze. But
My
they
mom
didn't
used
need
to. My mom used to make the gin flavored ice cubes.
You know,
Really?
you can buy wine ice cream out here. I'm just saying.
Those are probably really
Chardonnay,
cold.
With alcohol in it.
Riesling. Yes, it's ice cream with alcohol in it, but it's all wine flavored. So you have Riesling, you have Pinot, you have Chardonnay, you have all that.
What a way to ruin ice cream.
I don't know, man. It's pretty nice, particularly if you're on like a really bad date with somebody. Like, let's go get some ice cream, and you just get through the Chardonnay ice cream by yourself, and then you go home.
Yeah, wine sucks.
Fine. I don't know. Okay, that's
I
fine.
thought we had something special, Jenny.
Nerdy says, can I just put a stick in a choc ice? No. Lone Wanderer.
Well, when I was growing up, my favorite one was a Bubble O Bill. So it was ice cream in the shape of a cowboy, and it had for the nose, it was bubble gum, and the ice cream was Neapolitan. That was in the shape of a Bubble O Bill. I loved that.
Did you eat the bubble gum?
I would eat the bubble gum afterwards, yeah.
I always eat my bubble gum, like always. I never spit it up.
Okay,
It's going
those
to-
of you who had Mickey Mouse pops, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's like the white Mickey Mouse face, and
Yes.
it had the chocolate
Mhm.
ears. Did you eat the ears first?
Yes. And we
Yeah.
didn't have them, but we had something similar.
Yeah,
Well, you have to. That's the problem.
I think I did too, yeah. I ate the
I mean, just
the ears first.
holding the stick. You have to work from the top.
it's
Right.
just it's easier to bite the ear than to just like go into the side of it. You'll smash.
Who
it
eats the
into your face.
popsicle from the bottom up?
Could you?
I'm-
Yeah, you can't stick the popsicle next to your neck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would think you'd have to go top down instead of bottom up on the Mickey Mouse chocolate ears thing.
Does anybody else, when you're like on a popsicle and you hit the stick, that it kind of like goes through your
Yes.
through your like nails on a blackboard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
I cannot
What
I
time?
can't do like filed nails or anything like that. Not sandpaper.
You think that's bad? You think that's bad? You should try working with a like proper ice cream fridge with the boxes. Because when you pull one of those boxes out, an ice cream box out of a fridge, all 4 sides of it scrape along the ice. And the feeling goes through your hand as you pull the box out. And it's just...
I guess I got like distracted. Are you talking about the sound of ice?
But the sound of
They're
boxes...
talking generally about like the disturbing
the
sound,
sensation
like nail
and the sensation.
Do you guys have that same fucking feeling when you have like a cotton ball?
Yes. I can hold a cotton ball.
Really?
I can't tear a cotton ball. I cannot
hate you all.
My
physically
little
tear a
brother has
cotton ball.
I don't know.
If I squeeze a cotton ball, I like have to drop it out of the room.
I've got a great story.
Oh, this
I've
is
got a great
interesting.
story.
I want to
Yeah,
hear
I've got a
your
good
story.
story Just out of curiosity, how many people here are freaked out by cotton balls? I know 2 of them. So we got okay.
I'm
My
not.
little
I
brother,
grew up
for some
across
reason,
the
was
street
freaked
from a
out by
cotton field.
Yeah, for some reason he says they squeak and it just goes through him. I don't get it, but he says they squeak. Anyways,
They do.
I must have been like 10 or 12 at the time, and he told me this, which is a bad thing to do to a brother. So
Yeah, so you're a little...
So I immediately started sewing a whole bunch of cotton balls on a very long string, and then I wrapped the inside of his doorknob to his room with cotton balls. And when he was in there, I just closed the door, and he just couldn't get out of his room. So, as a result,
That is evil.
as a result, he knew that my older brother was afraid of clowns. So he goes downstairs. This is the 90s. He prints off a whole bunch of evil clown pictures, covers his room. It's like he opens he lifts his sheet. There's an ugly clown on his pillow. They're everywhere in his room. And he does this to him, thinking that he's the one who did it to him. While I'm just standing there, like nothing's going on. Oh, it's so funny. I love it.
But chlorophobia
Yes,
is a
evil.
real thing.
I hate clowns so much. That's a great way
Yeah.
to get kicked in the crotch.
Chlorophobia. Clown phobia is a real thing. You know?
Yeah.
I never had a problem with clowns. I find them boring, but I don't have a problem
They're
with them.
jerks.
They're
Jerks. Clowns are assholes. They cover their face. They treat their friends terribly. They shove in them cannons and blow them out of that. And they're like, "Here, smell my flower," and then they spray you in the face. And that they're just all horrible people. They're just not.
And they also do these like funny, like bad magic tricks that are boring and suck.
Oh my god! I'm like, I actually went to Universal Studios around Halloween has Halloween Horror Nights. One year I went. Unfortunately, it was Killer Clown version of that. So we know that was fantastic for me because I hate clowns. So I'm walking around, and they have these people in scary clown makeup walking around with big old garbage can lids, like coming by you, and then like fake chainsaws. I swear, I almost fought someone. I almost got fight or flight. I was either running from clowns or I was ready to just absolutely rip out teeth or something. So I'm like, I quit doing that. And the person who I was with is like, I'm not taking you to anything ever again because I don't want to go to jail. So,
Wayne asks, how do you deal with Ronald McDonald?
I hate him. He's a jerk too. If you look at early Ronald McDonald videos, early Ronald McDonald like commercials are creepy. They're incredibly creepy.
Yeah.
And just that like vacant. He has this vacant face. It's just like
it's not as creepy as that Burger King character. That's creepy.
The king is fun. I like the king.
I
We
freaked
kinda
out
leaned
my
into that one,
brother.
though.
My brother lives not far from me, and so when he bought his house and I bought my house, I went and bought a Burger King like costume with the mask and everything, and I set up a dummy in his backyard at his back door because he left his backyard open. I put it there, but I left candy, guys. I'm not a total jerk. So I left some candy and stuff, and so it looked like the Burger King guy was looking in his back window, and it freaked him out. It was great.
But like, I have something to say about clowns, right? So, McDonald's started as like one restaurant, and it became like one of the most successful restaurants in the whole world, using that shitty clown as the mascot.
Yeah.
Actually, stop. the Ronald McDonald didn't come around till like the 70s. They never started
No,
with that.
no,
They're-
that's not true. Willard Scott,
way
from
earlier.
formerly of
Black and
NBC
white TV, man.
Network, was the original Ronald McDonald at the very first Ronald McDonald's or McDonald's.
Back
Way
in
back-
like
like
way-
after,
way
after
back
they
when.
sold it to
was like-
after they sold it to the Ray Kroc or
Yeah,
before.
I think after, and it was like his first job in
Yeah.
show business. And
I think
I've seen pictures of him and everything.
I think that the clown must be like a brilliant marketing strategy that we don't understand because we all hate the damn clown. But like,
Yeah, but how much did
It
he
worked.
contribute to it?
why did it work? All right, I'm done.
Stands out. Right, we're getting shouted at anyway to move on.
What's the second question? Yeah.
Ice lollies was
Yeah.
the question.
Next.
They've been arguing. The chat's
machines don't work. They never
The chat's
work.
been arguing about condoms because magnums are popular in the UK.
Okay,
Apparently-
next.
Apparently, you have a condom called a magnum.
So
Uh,
people in UK are very optimistic, huh?
You should see the size of our magnums. They're huge.
I won't have. I'm gonna not tell any stories about that. It's fine.
You had a magnum.
We have
Oh, I
magnums
had
in the
several
US,
magnums.
and some
Do you?
people are very ambitious about what size condom they need. And when they find out they don't need something that big, it's quite hilarious and embarrassing for that person.
It's. Are we gonna do the next question, Dave?
We
But,
are.
Just to answer.
Yeah, this
I
is a
live in
rabbit hole.
Vietnam, and the condoms are all like way too small. Like I have actually had to like fly to South Africa to buy condoms at work, and it's not like I have a big dick. It's just like damn.
You actually have to read the fine print of the measurements on the side. It's not something advertised, sadly. But
Right.
anyway,
Next question. I have
Show
no
us.
clue how I'm going to tag this question. Shut up!
Oh,
Question.
my second stream.
Shush.
We got to go to the UK. Second stream.
We'll have a whole other stream for that. Question. Mel's a scientist, she can judge. Question 1144. What country has the best architecture?
oh God.
Ooh.
I'm gonna easily go with Egypt right there because I think the pyramids are very impressive, and everything else is kind of different level.
That's hard
a
to
good question.
that's hard to say because I've seen so many really incredible buildings in so many different places, but I've never seen one
Yeah.
city highlighted all their architecture and stuff like that.
Country.
How do we define best?
Well,
I guess is the question.
that's the point.
Like majestic.
Yeah. Isn't it though?
It's what you consider.
Like, yeah.
Wait,
Like
Wayne
you
says
saw it and you were
Dubai.
like, wow.
Wayne says Dubai. Mum Atheist says Italy, bitches. Nerdy says the UK
What?
has the
Wayne-
best. Wait, there. UK has the best architecture next, and then Wayne says, "Ooh, Italy is pretty strong." See, here's the thing: the UK has castles.
They do.
Castles are
So
fantastic.
So does Germany.
In
Germany has a lot of
Czechoslovakia
castles.
and
Really
other
nice
parts
ones.
of Europe.
Don't
So does
take the
France.
castles away from us. Yes, they all have
Belgium.
castles. And France
ever
has
been to
some really
Moscow?
nice castles.
I'm thinking Berlin, Munich, London.
I mean,
They're cities, though, not
What the hell?
countries.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
you want the whole
Berlin,
country.
Berlin got like completely destroyed in World War II. Like all of its.
Berlin's
I don't
interesting
think. I don't
because
think Berlin even has any historic architecture.
It does.
Well, who cares?
it does still have historic stuff kicking around. But you're right, because of the war, they were able to basically say, okay, the old city's stuck, let's build it efficiently again. So they've kind of got new infrastructure on top of old things. It's weird. But they do have fascinating infrastructure there, because that's where you saw a lot of like the Gothic cathedral with the, what are they called, the flying buttresses.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of that coming through. Yeah, I guess Germany, sure.
Donna says Spain has beautiful architecture. Santi says Japan.
True.
Jen says any country that has lots of bush or forest, less buildings the better. Not really a
Bush.
winner for architecture. Mathpig says some of the buildings in Ireland are fucking beautiful. No pyramids, but Italy probably wins. Brainbug says Scotland. Ricardo
Wait a
says,
minute, you guys don't think I win by pyramids because that's unique. There's everywhere has cathedrals, everywhere has castles. Like, I don't know. That's why I picked Egypt.
Yeah, but how much flavor do you want to glorify? I mean,
Flavor?
how much slavery do you want to glorify?
Slave? I don't understand what you said. Slavery?
Slavery. But allegedly they weren't built by slaves now. That's only a Christian
No,
slash Jewish slave.
it doesn't matter who made it or how it was made. Like what Wayne was saying.
Shapes.
Wait there.
Really? This is the best you got?
Yes. And it took them a while to get that. Ricardo says, are we talking historical currently? I would accept either. Nerdy says, I love castles and bridges. Is it S. Reddick? Says Czech Republic. Wayne says Disney World has a castle too.
I can tell you who has the worst.
Who?
United States.
Yep.
God damn, American architecture is boring as shit.
Do you have any nice
It's
bridges?
boring,
Let's
but
make a
they
box.
are able to build things really tall.
Yeah,
No,
so
but
what?
it's
They're ugly.
But dude, Chad. Also, the United States sucks. Like if you build a house, it'll fall down in like 20 years. Like what my mom just said is in Czech Republic, the architecture is amazing because you build it out of stone. And this shit's like 1,000 years old.
Why has America
Like, that's
never
awesome.
discovered bricks?
They did, but it's only
My house is made of brick.
as decoration, not as the
My house is
main.
made of brick.
I mean, keep watching these pictures after a tornado's been through. And look at the devastation. It's because everything's made of wood. Of course it blows down. Have they never heard the Three Little Pigs?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The Three Little Pigs.
Yeah, but tornadoes, bricks aren't really going to win that argument. I mean, you're talking about cows flying in the air here.
You could
I got
probably...
a hurricane coming here on Tuesday, so I'm thinking a little bit about the wind. If you've never been in one, it's something else.
With enough
is
force, a
it
cow
lit?
could destroy a brick house. I mean, if you have
Sure.
enough force behind it, you know.
Right. Nerdy says, French castles are really easily overrun, though. I did a search for historic French militaries and it told me. Santi says, pyramids are boring. Wayne says, Mexico has pyramids too. See, no one said anywhere in South America.
You're right.
What is
You're right.
No.
Brazil
Yeah,
has
you're
a
right.
very
Mexico,
interesting
Belize, everywhere down through there where the Olmecs were, yeah. It's
Yeah, Mexico has a bunch
El
of pyramids.
Rey, Chincoteague. You have all kinds of wonderful step pyramids
Oh,
in
it's
South
beautiful.
America that have
Beautiful
to get
lasted
down there if you've never
for
seen 'em.
a very long time. It's quite nice. You know, they look like ziggurats.
yeah.
If only we could
Yeah,
all be
they're-
virgins
they're-
sacrificed to
look
gods
like
at the top,
cigarettes?
you know.
No,
Ziggurats.
Ziggurat.
Like
Ziggurats.
step
You guys-
pyramids.
Any of you guys
Ziggurats.
play StarCraft?
Man,
cigarettes.
No.
they look like
Need more
cigarettes that you
sense.
smoke out your mouth, you know, just like the 20s.
Yeah,
you know,
why would they
with
make
the
them look
black
like
and
that?
white?
That's,
Nobody plays StarCraft? Need more
does-
ziggurats.
does the building give you cancer?
A building, but wind can too, according to Trump. So it's fine.
It's anything, Dad.
Cancer.
Yeah.
Dave-
Stool says, Lego Land.
Dave, okay, go ahead. I was just wondering, Dave, are you, when we all six of us answer the question, are you going to tell us who had the best question, or we just don't know?
We just answer.
Answer, I mean, yeah.
We just answer. We're just monkeys in this process. Don't
And we leave
worry.
it, we
There's
we
no-
leave it up to the comments to decide who wins.
There's no winner. We all lost. That's why we're here.
I
I
gave up nothing to be here today. I'm just telling you. So it's like, it's fine. I don't know. I kind of I'm partial to. I'm torn between Italy with all of the different things that they have, particularly in Venice, and its ability to persist regardless of the floodwaters increasing. And at the same time, we have amazing individuals in America like Frank Lloyd Wright. So I'm like, I'm probably more prone to go with Italy because they have buildings that have lasted for thousands of years that are absolutely amazing. And Venice is still here. We still have Venice, guys.
Just about.
Did you know that they had
kind of disappearing. They're having some water. They're having some sinking issues at the moment with their wooden piles because they apparently just took the wooden, basically tree trunks.
It's okay. That problem's going to resolve itself in the next 100 years.
Yeah. So in terms of their long-term, Just because people have been there longer doesn't mean their architecture's better per se.
No.
They've just been there longer.
But to be fair, the sewer system that they developed early on, the gargoyles with the distribution of the
Yeah,
water.
there's so many places in Europe
there are
where you
lots
can
of
go
things.
where you
that-
can cross
cool.
a river on a bridge that's 1,000 years old, though.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
in
it's-
America, they replace them every 50 years. They have to be changed.
America sucks, man. I don't even want to get into all that. I just want to put my head through the wall with all the stuff I see.
Well,
I'm not even.
Brainbug says colonial New England architecture is fantastic.
You know, and to be fair, I have to say my favorite place in the world is the Natural History Museum in London. If you've not paid attention to some of that architecture there's life within the very tiles that they used with that building. You can walk around. The architecture is absolutely amazing. So even though I say Italy, my favorite place in the world that I think about, if I'm like, oh my God, the world's like, I've been there so many times. It's absolutely beautiful. There's so much attention to detail, and so much time was spent to make the Natural History Museum to where even in the very tiles you see life. It's really cool. I have to nods to London on that. That's pretty cool.
London does
Another
have
really
some good stuff.
interesting place. Another really interesting place is Istanbul. If you've never been.
Yes. Well,
Look at that.
say,
It is
Ricardo says.
Constantinople.
You just stole mine, Chad.
Yeah, well, this is it. Ricardo just said Czech Republic
You
and
just stole
Turkey
mine.
Yeah.
not able to choose.
Yeah.
Czech Republic and Turkey, they've got a lot of that Eastern onion roof thing happening. So it's a really good thing.
This
So
merger
mine.
of two cultures.
Yeah. Best of both worlds, kind of.
I have
Yeah, I've been to
they might be
Istanbul.
giant. I'm
Beautiful.
sorry.
Good.
Right. Anyone
I was
else?
just
Before anyone else, before
sorry.
we move on.
Okay.
I haven't even
was gonna
chance
say,
to
please
answer.
listen to They Might Be Giants. That's what's on loop in my head right now.
Yes.
I'm gonna,
Istanbul to Constantinople.
that one.
Do.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Leave it to the Turks. Lone Wanderer.
Well, I was going to say Turkey. I've never seen so many beautiful minarets in all of my life. You know, they have on the mosques and stuff, their little minaret things. Like, they're so pretty. You know. And it also has Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe. Yeah, it's the oldest temple in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Me too.
Right. Next question. Question. 1145. Would you trade 10 years of your life to cut global carbon emissions by 40%?
Absolutely.
What? 40%?
Yeah.
No.
Trade it for what? I'm gonna live 10 years less.
Yes. You personally will live 10 years less, but global
Well,
carbon
yeah,
emissions will be
sure.
cut by 40%.
That's why this is a critical question, because I would definitely kill myself right now if I could cut global emissions by 100%. If I could kill myself, I'd do it. But yeah, okay, I don't know.
Am I the only one who's killing myself, or
No,
No, you're not
is it
dying.
my
You're only
age?
losing 10. You're only losing 10 years
In 10 years.
for 40%.
I have to think about
Jenny's doing the math.
Brainbug says, yes, my kids matter more than me. Mathpick
Mine
says,
Okay.
yes,
was like 90s. I'm sorry.
yes,
go
because
on.
Mama Atheist would guilt face me into doing it.
True.
Oh,
Lone Wanderer has to restart her computer.
What did Mama say?
oh, I missed that. Mama Atheist.
Oh, Mama
said,
Atheist says this is like a good idea to do.
yeah, 40% would bring us back to pre-industrial levels and will eventually reverse climate change.
Okay,
Nerdy
well
says-
then, of course. Okay.
Nerdy says no because everyone would just cock it up all over again. People are idiots.
Yeah, that's true.
I just want to get this straight. Am I the only one who does this, or
Yes,
It's-
you're the only
it's
one that
everybody-
does this.
Yeah.
You doing this cuts global emissions by 40%.
oh, I
There has
do
to be,
it.
there
I
has
do
to be
it.
some kind of alien that comes down and just makes it happen with us getting them out. Like,
Yes.
If
a
that
really
was true,
statistic.
if that was true, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Stool says, do I get to do the thing with my willy before I die 10 years too early? You've never done that thing with your
shut up,
willy. I
Stool.
doubt it. Tim, no. Ricardo says no.
So I have a question for Mama Atheist.
Go on.
Does Mama Atheist think that if we cut carbon emissions by 40%, that would be enough? That like the trees and algae and everything would be able to reverse global warming? Like, is cutting it by 40% enough to fix the problem? Because I mean, I want to 100% fix the problem, but maybe 40% fixes it.
No, I can't imagine.
I don't think 40% is enough, but I might be misunderstanding.
But it would be a damn good start and give us more opportunity to continue on and resolve it.
I mean, you pick two friends. Pick two friends, and you might be able to get it down to 120%.
Oh my God! So
yeah, I started thinking about like if today, let's say, for some reason, Greta Thunberg was assassinated, and then we basically said, okay, drop global carbon emissions by 40% in her honor. Yeah, I mean, if that was me, if somebody would do that about me, I would do it. Absolutely. 40%, that's a lot for one person. For 10 years, easily.
Yeah. It's a definite start, but it wouldn't just fix it.
It's a trolley problem. Problem.
You know, I'm of the mind until we get into place of alternative types of fuel, it's not going to matter. So the only stipulation would be like the movement to sustainable energy, options, whether it's hydrogen cells or solar, whatever we got to do. But right off the bat, I would say no for that reason, because we've already been down that particular rabbit hole. And I feel like with what I'm doing, I'm in a position to where I can change minds to where we can have change happen.
Would you do it if you were? Would you do it if you knew it would be 80 to 90?
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe. We have pretty good stock. Just like my family, they don't die until they're in their 90s. So it's like, what's 80 or 90 at that point? You're like, well, Alzheimer's runs in my family. So does heart attack and stroke and certain sects of that. But I try to minimize my risk. So it's one of those weird things. Unless there was some kind of standing agreement that we do not use fossil fuels again, then it's a moot point, in my opinion.
You wouldn't do it. I mean, the reduction of 40%, that means significant change to existing industrial infrastructure. That buys time. That not enough?
Buy time, but if there's no change, then it's pointless.
If it buys 20 years, is that not worth 10 years of your life?
If it doesn't initiate permanent change, then it's not worth it, because then we'll be right back where we started again.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mel.
That's the only problem I have. Unless there was some kind of legislation across the board and the world came to some kind of consensus that we need sustainable and renewable energy sources that didn't have a negative effect on the environment. Otherwise, it's great. It's a wonderful thing to say, okay, I would give 10 years of my life for that. But what does that really matter if we're going to end up in the same situation 25, 30 years from now? That really doesn't matter.
I would do
25, 30 years from now, we have kids that are going through the education system now. So hopefully 25, 30 years from now, we'll have a voting block that will know better.
Have you seen who's
we have to wait for
president right now?
I would
yes, and
I would do it if I was able to take.
We buy 20 years.
I have, so being a science communicator and science educator, and what I've had to deal with the public in general, teaching evolution in the Bible Belt and that sort of thing, you cannot rely on people to do the right thing just because it's the right thing to do, particularly when we're dealing with the current administration. People do not understand. It requires more than just one generation of understanding of this is the thing that's going on. It's a consistent effort, and that's
Yep.
You know,
You don't
we
have to
think this is
convince
the
me of
best
that.
option, right? I have one
You
too,
gotta get them wearing these.
right?
Get them wearing these, and we'll talk. Yeah.
I know,
Ricardo,
exactly.
I believe
That's
you.
what I mean. That's what I mean. So
Ricardo
until
says-
everybody's on board, it's not going to be an effective thing of change.
Well, that
until-
brings me
Right.
to my
40%
point.
sucks.
Now, I would
Just wait.
do it
Wait. Ricardo says that's
No,
all
my
fun and
turn.
games. Just 2 secs. But climate change needs to be won in the public opinion before I would ever consider this question.
Exactly.
Well, see, that's
Jenny.
my idea. Is I would do it as long as I could take about 60 million Republicans with me.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
At
That'll
least
change-
the
that'll
ones
change
who are in
things.
charge of making all the laws.
This is why we need just 20 years. They'll all be dead.
We did. Lone Wanderer.
But
Yeah,
their children and
that's
the
what they
people
said 20 years ago, by the way.
around.
Yeah, I would do it.
Yeah, you do it. It's easy.
Oh,
Right.
if 4 of y'all do it, then I'll spend my time making certain we try to get laws in place. How about that?
Mel, can I ask you a question?
We're gonna take one for the team, Mel.
So wait a minute. Don Obhead says, "What if we eliminated 40% of all humans instead? I mean, just for fun.
It'd be the same. It'd be like the
Can
same
we-
result.
Can we pick the 40%?
It'd be the same result.
All right,
They kill
yeah.
40% of the humans, and then they do the same shit again and reproduce. And
No, it
fuck
wouldn't be
everything
though.
up.
If you killed off 40% of the Chinese, and 40% of the population in Asia, it would have less
Oh,
of an
now-
impact
now
than
you're
if you
being
killed off
racist.
40%
Why
of
would
the
you
West.
pick it on
It'd be
Asia?
like
Don't make
I was
that.
thinking it would be like
Racist.
I was thinking it'd be like 2% Chinese, 2% Americans, 2%
Oh my
Canadians.
goodness.
No,
My point is, I was trying to pick the lower polluters
Okay, go ahead.
per GDP.
Slippery
I'm
slope.
not touching this.
so you're in favor of Dave?
I'm
You're
not-
in favor of like genocide, I guess.
No, this is Dawn
Yeah,
Obhead. This is
They're
not me.
just
Hey, guys,
Chinese
this is
people.
genocide.
Oh my gosh. What was
I
your
wanted to-
question, Chad? You had a question. I'm sorry.
I wanted to
Chris
ask
had a
you a
question.
question, Mel, but go ahead, Chad.
Hmm?
Mel, I wanted to ask you because I'm like a huge like I hate climate change. Like I really want to fix it. I think it's one of the worst problems in the whole world. But for me to just die 10 years earlier to just bring it back 40%, wouldn't you think that would buy us like 50 years? And
It
then
wouldn't buy us 50 years, not at the current.
how many years?
rate.
What if it bought us like 5 years just for you to die?
That's 5, maybe
More
5
years of
years
education.
at best. But the problem
I know,
we
but
run into,
But don't you feel like you're being selfish by not like if I could buy the world 5 years of time for all of the billions of people, like I would say if I could, yeah, I don't know, fuck it, yeah, kill me, man. To
I
buy
get
5
it.
years.
No, I completely get that argument. But,
But-
what's
I see what you're
the
saying. I see
point
what you're
in
saying.
doing that if there's no change
Yeah.
involved?
Do you have a very long term outlook? Like
Yeah,
millions
I would
or
if
thousands of
I'm
years?
gonna do
I
that.
have like millions and thousands of years outlook. Like I think about space colonies and stuff.
Well, space colonies aren't gonna happen in 5 years. So,
No,
they're not.
I think about like millions of years, right? So I understand that, right? Like
right.
yeah, so cutting it. So basically, I think the question sucks because 40%, I think you would agree, is the same as like 0%. It needs to be 100%.
Well,
And
40% would be great, and I would be willing to concede that if we, as a collective species, were to say we need to shift away from fossil fuels. But I'm not in the current climate, in the way that people are behaving right now. I'm not convinced that they'd be willing to do that. And
oh
so-
no, wait, absolutely no
I like
way.
rephrasing
It's an
that.
economic concern.
But you just said that communist word, collective.
Yeah, I would like to rephrase the question though.
I'm here in communist Vietnam.
We agree
I'm a
that
commie. They're gonna burn me at the
Maybe
stake
a
next
couple
week or
years.
something. I don't know.
Say again, Chad?
Yeah, but if we agree that it's going to collectively give us a couple of years, then I see it as additional time to educate people. And right now, people are already freaked out. And given that they haven't worked for the past decade, if we had an extra decade to make up for that, I would still consider that worth continuing.
But right now, education is working in both directions. The side that's trying to convince
Education
people that
isn't
it's
working
not real.
so
yeah,
great
but
in
so
the
they're from the
U.S.
dumb half, so it's okay.
We
But dude,
we are a
dude, you
hot
don't wanna.
mess. We're okay. All I'm gonna say is if you look at the current figures from the National Science Foundation, we're getting dumber. Okay, we're
Yes,
not
that is
getting better. We were at 24% of the US thought that the sun revolves around the earth. That was a handful of years ago, like maybe two. Now we're at
correct in there.
27%. 27% thinks the sun revolves around the earth. We're getting dumber. We're not getting smarter. Education, yeah, we don't funnel money into education. We don't funnel money into correct information. We don't do that. And where I work right now, we're having a drop in enrollment because people are worried about not being able to eat, not being able to feed their families, and working and that sort of thing with the current pandemic, because we had a person in office dismantle the very group that was meant to protect us from a pandemic. So it's like there's a lot of different things that are going. So until the people in power recognize the fact that we have a crisis, until they force people to say, hey, we're going to all die if we don't do this, until that actually happens, that facing the music, as they would say, happens.
Well,
All of that's not going to matter because people are still going to drive their cars. They're still going to go not wear masks. They're going to still disregard everybody else. And that's the problem that we're seeing right now. So
But you're
it's great. It's
buying it.
great to consider if I can buy 5 more years, but 5 more years isn't going to do anything if we don't take change seriously.
Fair.
And
Mel,
that's
can I
where
say two
kind of
things
see that.
about that really quick?
You're quick.
Really quick, two things. Okay.
Quick question.
Number one, the people who are in power aren't worried about like the economic situation.
No,
they
they
don't give a
don't
shit about
care.
the environment. And then number two, most people, I think all of us here are educated, right? So we can actually take a long-term outlook that goes beyond our own lives. Like I actually care about like 1,000 years in the future, but I would say, like 95% of people don't care. So that's the
I
problem,
mean,
right?
I live in Trumplandia. The day in 2016 when we had elections and I went and voted, I came back and a lot of my neighbors had Trump signs in their yard. I imagine that will happen again in 2020. And that's where we're at. It doesn't matter. I had people flipping me off at the post office because I wore a mask. It's just I'm going to the freaking post office. I'm in a tiny freaking small town and people treat me like garbage. I offered to give out free masks and they said that I had an Antifa agenda and I was trying to indoctrinate people. I taught their kids biology.
I
I was a
know.
high school teacher here and they questioned if I was a real person or not. So I'm like, I taught high school for 5 years to these people's kids, and they thought that, and they were
Oh
like,
yeah, it
we
doesn't
need to
matter.
find out if she's a real person. It scared my mom. I had to delete myself off of Facebook groups and start blocking people. This is where I am right now. So it's very hard for me to say, yes, I will shave off 10 years of my life when I have people who would not accept a free mask from me because they thought I had an Antifa agenda and I taught their kids biology.
I live in a small town, a very small town of 900, and everybody wears their mask.
Woo,
Not
that's
a
very
problem
small.
here.
That's
Up here
good.
in Canada, there, where I am in Nova Scotia, PEI, New Brunswick, and Newfoundland have made what's called the Atlantic Bubble, and we've been compared to New Zealand in some sense. We've basically closed our borders for non-commercial traffic. So if you don't have a reason to come in, you don't come in. You get fined, mandatory masks. The police will arrest you. Like the fact that people don't take this seriously is beyond horrifying to me.
Yeah, but it's a governmental
just-
problem. It literally the American government created this problem.
It is. It's selfishness run amok. It's this idea that it's toxic selfishness.
Yeah.
And
Right,
I got
we
to.
need to go.
The Trump administration caused this problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
Well, I mean,
fighting the government, which is people like Fauci and the CDC and
Yeah.
the deep state, as they say, that actually knows what they're
science
doing.
educated people.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's
Yeah, it is.
scary.
Very scary. As a
I
Canadian,
mean-
I'm terrified about what's happening south of the border. I got to say, It's
So
legitimately terrifying.
it is terrifying, and now they're looking at Trump is wanting to put an executive order for patriotic education to be
Yeah.
taught
I
to kids in
saw that.
schools.
Oh God, it was
And I'm
bad.
like,
No,
this sounds a
re-education
lot like
camps.
Hitler's youth. I'm just
Yeah.
throwing that out there, but it's I would be in the streets, I would be protesting, I would be doing all of that, but I understand that where I'm at in my job right now, I have an opportunity to help people better their lives through education, and I can initiate change there. And so it's just what I've had to experience in just my own town. If I put a Biden sign in my yard, I would be afraid for my life because people on my street are Trump supporters and they have guns. I don't have guns in my house, but that's where I live. And so my mom is genuinely afraid for my safety and is like, you need to delete everything and pretend you're not part of these Facebook groups. She's like, these people are nuts. And so that's where I live. So I'm dealing with these people on a regular basis. And if there's no kind of caveat or it's saying we're going to initiate change, it's not worth me shaving off 10 years of my life because I work with people on poverty line and I help make their lives better. And if I can do that until I drop dead, I'm going to do that. That's just kind of how I feel.
Right. Next question.
Next question. Woo, guys, this is a happy show.
It's good. Better.
Question 4.
Question 1146. Would you be okay with your current or future partner acting in porn?
Important?
In
Porn.
pornography, acting in pornography.
Oh, being like if my girlfriend was a porn star?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Do one of you guys answer that one first? Huh?
I wouldn't have a problem with that, I guess. I think I'd be okay with that.
Nerdy says yes. Nerdy says, I'd be perfectly okay with any future partner being involved in porn. Mathpig says, Mathpig doesn't share.
As long as they were utilizing protection and limiting the risk of transmission of diseases and that sort of thing, I wouldn't have an issue with that.
Chad?
On this one, I would have said 5 to 10 years ago that I would not share, but now I basically say I'd be okay with it. I think I've kind of grown, I guess, in some sense. My opinion changed.
I mean, oddly enough, you teach high school. You're a high school teacher. I can imagine it's one of the professions where there could potentially actually be a negative impact on your job from them doing so.
Well, you're asking about my partner, though. I don't plan on going on OnlyFans.
No. I mean, talking about your partner. I can imagine. I can imagine school kids saying they found
Stigma.
Mr. Chad's wife on Pornhub.
And that's fine, but I don't see a problem with that. There's no stigma there apart from their opinion. And quite frankly, they don't vote or have money, so I don't care.
We've got to go here. Jen said, sure if they wanted to. Ricardo says, yes, fine. Godless Sewing says, yes, completely. Jen says what Mel said. Stool says, if she's a nun, nun porn is sexy time. Rainbow says, I'd be a hypocrite if I did. Richard says, that is beyond gross. Never mind the disease thing. That is just nasty. I wish I were a virgin and would want my future mate to be. Understandable position. I don't agree with it at all. Nerdy says, I'm on Dave's OnlyFans. Ilya says, hello. Why am I reading that? My apologies. Lone Wanderer.
See, that's a really difficult question because I wouldn't want to stand in the way of something they wanted to do if that's really what they wanted to do. But like Mel was saying, what if they get me sick? And you and I, Dave, we've had this conversation a couple of times about consenting adults. But
the same could be said of a lot of jobs. The same could be said of a lot of jobs where there's a lot of risk of disease and a lot of, there are lots of people. Would you object if your partner worked in a bio lab?
I did. I had access to rubella and HIV and all kinds of things.
Where there isn't
exactly. So I mean, I'm not saying I would have a problem with it. It would just be like, he'd have to be tested like daily. You know.
You want to ensure you're safe.
For me, I would.
Go on, Chris.
I was gonna say, I would have a problem with it, just because I have some stupid connection that doesn't make any sense that I want like a monogamous relationship, right? But like ethically and morally, I shouldn't care, right? Like if she wants to be a porn star, like it's my problem. That's my problem, right? I should be able to get over it.
Welcome to your indoctrination, your societal indoctrination.
I don't know. I think that depends. So if you're more of a person who's interested in a monogamous relationship and that's something you understand with your partner, that's different. It would be a betrayal for them to want to start doing porn. And so at some point you would have to have the conversation, do I want to continue a relationship with this person if they're doing this? And so that's not a bad thing to say. I don't want my partner to do porn. There's no shame in that. It's a matter of this is what I need,
But I would also want to know their motivations,
Well,
like if it came
like
out
maybe to make money and not for love, or not even for like sensations or anything. If it's just for money or something, and they actually don't love the people, then you could still, I guess, still be monogamous, I guess. But like, I mean, my answer, I guess I'll give like a hard no. Like, what was the question? Would you break up with your girlfriend if she's a porn star? Or
would you be okay with your current or future partner acting in porn?
No, I wouldn't be, but I feel like my answer is no, but I feel like I should be though.
You can't do anything about what she did.
No, I feel like that's my problem, right? I'm too harsh. I shouldn't say no, but I do feel.
I have some nice context for you here.
With that.
Right. Cold as fuck says, "Lol, fuck no. If I'm with someone, I'm with them, and call me old-fashioned, but no one but me puts their dinky in my woman." I think that's a bit ownershipy for me.
Well,
I kind of agree with Chris a little bit insofar as that's what I used to think. But I mean, when you start thinking about in terms of divorce rates, the number of people start going out on dates with and relationships with and have feelings more for either short periods or long periods of time, you start kind of getting into this idea of what is the monogamous aspect of it. I mean, all you've done is dislocate your feelings, temporally speaking. You've still done the acts in some sense. You're talking about essentially magical skin, and that's the part that I can't really get past mentally.
Yes.
That makes sense?
Ilya says yes.
Yeah,
Ilya
it does make
yes,
sense.
as long as they were safe
to I have a few things. I don't know if you want to hear it or not.
I mean,
I want to hear it. No.
Nerdy makes a good point here. Says the moment being a teacher, there is more risk of being a teacher of catching coronavirus.
Oh goodness.
Meme says, "Are we talking
my
about
thoughts?
Yes. Go on.
My thoughts on this. Okay. When it comes right down to it, when you're in a relationship with someone, it's up to whether or not you can handle them as they are. And so that can be different. Maybe for a particular individual, you wouldn't be okay with them being a porn star. Maybe in a separate relationship later on, you would be okay with them being a porn star. I think it really comes down to whether or not you're willing to navigate those waters of uncertainty and accept them as they are in that moment and be willing to grow with them. And that's what the struggle is with any freaking relationship. Are you willing to accept them as they are and continue on? And if you can't, there's nothing wrong with that. If you can't, that's not a failure. That's saying, I can't continue on with this particular relationship. Maybe you can still be friends, maybe you can still be close in another facet, but each person is different. And so when you have a relationship dynamic with somebody, whether it's romantic, whatever it be, it comes down
Dynamic?
to dynamic. Yeah.
I'm
So
just,
it comes down to whether
I
or
would.
not you can accept them as they are as they move throughout your life. And that can be different things for different people. And our needs change. They really do. They change throughout our life.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I think
it's
that
But see, I'd just
okay
be
if you
pissed off if
can't.
he came home from fucking all day and I wanted some and he was like, no, I'm
Dave.
tired.
Dave need to answer the question.
You know? I'm like,
Don't know what you're talking
excuse
about.
me.
Lone Wonder is answering the question.
Mama Atheist is telling Dave he's got to answer the question.
Jenny.
I abstain.
Jenny had.
Mel, are you in the chat?
I answer questions. I have the chat on the side. Yeah, I have the chat on the side.
What are you saying, Jenny?
I
Yes
was
or
gonna
no?
type something to you.
I feel like okay, so I default to Mr. Rogers. Okay. I read a lot about Mr. Rogers. I have his book like literally right here. And loving a person as
Oh,
they
God.
are. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, I've
I
had
just
various
imagine Mr. Rogers.
relationships with different people. And the challenge for me is if I want this person in my life, I have to accept them as they are. And if I can't accept them as they are, then they're not meant to be part of my inner circle or whatever you call that. And that's okay. You have temporary people, you have permanent people, and that's just how it is. But that doesn't mean you have to not like hate on yourself or hate on them or any of that. It's just we have different needs at different points in our lives, and being able to recognize that is just it's really valuable and super important in my opinion. But I'm not a psychologist. I feel like I was like, "Hello, Tony Stark Incorporated. How can I help you?"
Right, certain
That's
things
my
that have come
calculator.
from the chat have said. Right, firstly, to be a porn star, you don't necessarily actually have to have sex with someone. There are lots of things in the adult entertainment industry that would classify as porn star where you are not having sex with someone, but you are definitely being intimate with someone in some way.
Yeah.
Dave,
Chad.
you didn't answer the question, Dave. You didn't answer the question, Dave.
I would have concerns about where the safety line was, but no, I'd have absolutely no problem. I'd have no problem in general. It's just sex.
Yeah.
And that's different for
For a lot of
everybody.
people, it's
I know,
bullshit, you
and the
know?
problem is though our current society, the way we are brought up, basically Christian, has tied sex to relationships completely.
And
We
ownership
are.
and that
I
sort
mean,
of
again,
thing.
you've only got to read back to some of the ancient Greek stuff, and the sex and the marriage and the relationship. Say again.
This is getting dangerously
I
close
know.
to educational.
It is right, but the point is, you've only got to go back there to that sort of time, and when you have the separation of sex and relationship, you can see that they didn't need to be connected. This is something we've done. It's not to say that I wouldn't. I can't imagine me having jealousy issues or of my own, but I can't have any. I don't have any logical problem with it whatsoever. As long as I'm taking care of my own issues with the risk that might be there. But I have that problem with other people doing other jobs. I would worry, you've got a racing car driver, I would worry about them coming back injured. As we talk about, we've got a teacher, I would worry about them coming back with coronavirus every day. My sister is doing a job with lots of kids at the moment. And I worry. She got coronavirus like that the first time, and she's now more than 3 months out from that, so the risk of her catching it again is high. And that's just from working around kids.
I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
glad I don't teach public school anymore. I'm not even gonna lie. It's a mess right now in the U.S. It's terrible.
Oh,
It's
Um,
terrible.
Are you still abstaining, Jenny?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you still abstaining?
Yes.
You are. That's okay. Is there anything fun?
Mad respect for Jenny. High
I know.
five. I see you. It's all right.
You're allowed to.
whew.
And there is nothing exciting in the chat. Right, we'll go to the next question. Ooh. Question 1147. Would you sacrifice your life to claim the planet Venus for your country?
Oh God, no. No. Why?
God, that's one of the top 10 dumb questions.
It's like the hot. It's not even a hot planet because of how close it is to the sun. It's because it has a giant greenhouse effect. Why would you? That's like useless.
I'm taking a break, but like, hell no, Dave.
It's like
Unless there's
why
actually
would I
alien
do
life
that?
there.
Next question.
Venus is America. We got the hot planet.
The Russians can have it.
The point is, the Russians have claimed it.
Oh,
It's all
God.
there.
It's
Great.
just- Whatever.
They're welcome
Knock
to it.
yourself out.
You can't put anything on there to
You do you,
explore it for
bro.
more than 30 seconds because it melts. It's
Well,
so
this is the
freaking
point.
hot.
This is the argument I got into. Right. The point is, any country, well, any of the big countries right now could plant a flag there. A person could fly to Venus
It
right
won't
now and plant a flag.
It'll burn up. It'll
Doesn't matter.
like completely catch fire because of how hot Venus is.
It
Put
doesn't
your
matter.
flag
Cover
there.
it didn't happen.
So will the person
It's like-
planting the flag.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Right, this is why
And
you're
there's spaceship
sacrificing
and
yourself.
spacesuit. And
That's so dumb.
Right.
That's just dumb.
Okay. Right
Top 10
now,
dumb questions.
I did a poll. I started a poll yesterday. Okay. And out of 500 votes, 6% said yes, they would.
Oh, that's just terrible. 6% is like,
Well, that's enough to get it.
it's like the Hunger Games. They just show up and die for it's terrible. Why would you do that? It's not even, it's a runaway greenhouse effect. We can't even put technology on Venus without it being destroyed in a matter of minutes. It's just, it doesn't matter. I'm
Yeah.
going to put my
The
head through the
acidic
wall.
rain's a huge problem, but
I think everybody says no.
Everyone
let's
says
get a
no.
different
I'm very
question.
disappointed that at least not one of you would. Doorknob Head says titanium flag. I mean, the surface temperature of Venus is only 500 degrees. I mean, it's like now we can make suits that will survive 1,000 degrees.
Is that centigrade?
Yes, it's centigrade.
This is
Gee, not too hot.
that. It's like I'm gonna go to Venus and claim my Venus for America.
It's not the heat that's going to destroy everything. It's the acid environment. Those
Yeah, but again, we
clouds
can make
up
things
here,
that will survive
acid.
that briefly. Again,
No,
surely.
no, you're not. No, you're not. Unless you build
Nope.
it completely out of glass. And let's
Yeah.
imagine how practical that is.
Okay,
Well, it's
just
not practical. The
Look
point
up-
is we've only got to stay alive for 2 minutes to plant the flag.
oh my God. So look
Nope.
up all of the different instrumentation that's been sent to Venus and how long it lasted. You get minutes. You get
40
minutes.
minutes.
Of
40
information.
minutes.
We've got like
Wow.
two photographs
it.
from
40
Venus.
minutes.
Oh yay! A whole 40 minutes is like I claim this for America, and then you lay down and die a
Yes.
terrible, painful death
Yes.
where you're like eaten up by acidic atmosphere.
I
You're
think
not
if you were
selling it.
lucky, you'd
Horrible
get a
heat.
suicide pill.
Oh my God, that's like the worst way to go. That's one of the worst ways to go.
Yeah, but if you're gonna go, you only go once. Why not have an experience?
I'm gonna die on Venus claiming
Hey,
it for America. Who
You'd
does
be the
that?
Let's
well,
change
you'd be in the
questions.
history
Let's-
books also as the first person on Venus.
Who's a really stupid human being for going to Venus and claiming it for a country?
Let's change this. Let's change the question. Would you rather have somebody kill you with a tree stump remover or a branch grinder?
What?
branch grinder.
If you're in a barrel of snot up to your neck
So we,
and somebody throws poo at you, would you duck?
I like that question. I'm
I was
having
gone.
that.
I was gone, but all five of us agree that no, right? So
Yes.
Dave, what? I didn't hear you. I didn't hear your point. Why did you say yes?
I didn't say yes. I haven't
Nobody
given an
said.
answer.
Oh, we all six of us say it. All six of us say no.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't give an answer. Brainbug says no other planets, much like Antarctica and the Moon, should be free from the rule of any sovereignty. Godless Sewing says yes, because anywhere is better than Earth right now. Santi says I wouldn't
No, it's not.
sacrifice.
Just leave him. Go somewhere else.
Santi says I wouldn't sacrifice my left testicle for my country. Computer Chick says, oh shit, I lost it. Computer Chick says I would send Critical Cripple to plant the flag for America. No, thank you.
Are we nominating
So,
people as tribute?
What's your answer, Dave?
What's my answer? I would do it until it was the end of my life. That's it. I wouldn't go now.
You mean
If I
like
knew I was
you
gonna
mean
die
like if you're like
If I was going to die in
to claim
in-
it to claim
6
it for
months.
your country?
No, I'd just go to be the first. I don't give a shit about claiming it for my country.
Wait,
Oh my god.
is it my country?
Oh,
like named after me?
What?
Are you saying you would actually be like the astronaut who goes to Venus and plants the flag?
Yes, that's the reason. You're sacrificing your life. You couldn't survive there for longer than planting the damn flag.
Oh, I kind of thought like when you like you just kill yourself here on Earth for that. So that would make you like a hero or something.
Weird suicide pact.
You can
Yeah.
claim all you want. If you can't defend it, it's not yours.
No, that is another problem.
But that would make you like a hero. You'd be like more famous than Lance Armstrong if you
Would we
Yeah,
rename
somehow
the
you were able
planet
to
as
land
the
on Venus
Dave
and plant the
planet?
flag.
It wouldn't
You'd also-
be Venus anymore. It would be like this is the Dave planet, and so
You'd
all
also-
of the Dave's not here jokes from Cheech and Chong would totally be relevant at that point.
Yeah, Math Pig says Math Pigotopia is the new paradise. It's warm. Ricardo
You'd also be
says,
famous for being really stupid
I mean, people
and just-
are. Yeah. People are trying to work out who to send. I think Ricardo says, I think sending the orange blob to claim it for America.
Let's send Kanye West.
I
Let's
think we
Kanye
should.
West.
Kanye
Kanye
get lost.
West.
They could go together.
They could get
You
together.
know,
Just in case one fails.
Kanye West claiming Venus for America seems like a completely legitimate way for him to spend his own money for a science expedition. I'm all for that.
Right, so-
Let's write him a note.
We
So
should.
Dave, yeah, the answer is yes, because you would go down in the history books as like the one human being who was such a badass that he could like somehow survive landing onto the extreme heat of Venus and like put a flag there. That'd be pretty cool. So maybe when I'm like 85 years old and I want to be in a history book, I guess. But
Yeah, but
when
but
I'm
once-
dead, but
once
once
the-
I'm dead, I don't really give a shit about the world anymore.
Once the flag melts to nothing,
What's
Oh yeah,
badass?
it would like burn up immediately.
Yeah, what's badass about jumping out of an airplane without a parachute? I mean, that's not
That's what I
badass.
was gonna
That's just
say.
not planning well.
well, that guy did it. That guy did it
Yeah,
on
it's true.
TV, live TV that one day. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I think David
Oh, are
Bowie
you
did
talking
it.
about the where the dude who was like sponsored by Red Bull and SpaceX jumping out? It was like
No. That was a guy who was just trying for the record height in a parachute jump. This
Right.
guy jumped out of a plane with no parachute at all to land in a net on the ground.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yes, I did
and he
see
did
that.
it.
Smart.
Oh,
That's fucking
My heart.
nuts.
I don't know. I kind of feel you guys know how like those idiots go over Niagara Falls in like a barrel to be like the
Yeah,
first
I know.
one. So like you can be like famous, I guess, but then you're dead, right? So I guess once I'm dead, I don't really give a shit about like my legacy because I'm dead.
Well, how do you
Uh,
practice something like that without a parachute?
You know,
How do you
Name
but
one
to be
person who went
fair,
over the wall.
if I was in a barrel over a Niagara
Name
Falls
one.
and I thought that Christopher Reeves was Superman going to save me, I might do that. But he's not around
You mean
now.
because you're saying going over Niagara Falls in a barrel, you actually have a chance to not die.
No,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no. What I'm saying is, I was making a joke because Christopher Reeves in Superman 2, he went and
Sure.
saved that boy who was in Niagara Falls and he fell off the side
Oh.
and everything. And I'm like, if I could have Christopher Reeves, who is Superman, save me from like dying in Niagara Falls, I would totally try that just because. Oh my god, It's
Did you
Christopher
have a
Reeve,
Did you have a thing for
Superman.
Christopher Reeve in that movie?
Do what?
Did you have a thing for Christopher Reeve in that movie?
He was my first superhero crush.
I can rate.
Christopher Reeve Superman was my first.
Who's your
superhero
second?
crush.
Who's your second crush?
That's really hard because there's so much to choose from now. I really like Tony Stark, but at the same time, I really like, Bruce Banner because, that's really fun. And then you also have Loki. Loki is kind of naughty, but he's really smart. So
Aquaman.
I think the modern Superman guy, like the guy who's in The
Aquaman.
Witcher,
Aquaman.
Henry-
he's sexy.
Aquaman. That's what it is.
I grew up
Aquaman.
liking him, but Jason Momoa, I'm like, all of you people who like hated on me for crushing on Aquaman, y'all eat it because Jason Momoa, oh my god.
He
And
is
then you
God.
have Henry Cavill was beautiful, but the writing was so
Yeah, that's
terrible.
what I was talking about, right?
Can I ask
The
a question,
writing
please?
was
How
horrible.
exactly did we get from
Henry Cavill is super attractive, isn't he?
Oh my god, he's like
Yeah.
painfully attractive. It's like your body hurts looking at him, and you're like, oh my god, how is
You get a
somebody
real
that
look
pretty?
at it.
I am?
She
Yeah,
doesn't
I
do
guess-
it for
We
me.
are not
So
rating
like, if
the
my
superheroes.
girlfriend was a porn star,
Next.
okay. If my girlfriend was a porn star, I'd just date Henry Cavill,
But if she
Yeah.
was like banging Henry Cavill in your house,
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to mute Mel.
Well, be sure to wear your Christopher Reeve suit.
to survive it.
Wait a minute. Henry Cavill's way more attractive than Christopher Reeve.
but he's not the blue Boy Scout that Christopher Reeve was, largely due to the terrible writing of the Man of Steel. I could talk about that for hours. I won't get into that. I'm
Right,
sorry.
next question. I'm just,
Okay.
I'm escaping them. Right. A nice, down-to-earth question. Question
Sure.
1148. What color is America?
God.
It's like
booger green.
50% blue, 50% red.
50%
It's booger
Green.
green.
It's booger green.
Booger green. That's the color of
Yep, I
America right
agree.
now.
I
Jenny.
agree.
I'd say somewhere
What
between.
are you talking about? Like if you had like a. Sorry,
I'd say
Jess.
somewhere between booger green and festering pustule yellow.
Are you guys
smells
saying
No,
green
I
because
go-
it's gross?
I'm on the other side of the color wheel. I'm
What-
gonna go with like almost like a reddish purple, like a dark reddish purple. I don't really have a name for the color exactly, more of a maroon, but
and
purple
it,
or closer to what we have. on the inside.
I have a description for that. That's infected penis head.
Yeah.
And you know this how?
I biology originally was my first degree, so I know everything that can kill me, particularly of the sexual orientation. And until you looked up elephantitis of the testicles, you haven't lived. So
Oh, everyone's seen that video of the guy who like sits on his balls like it's a chair. I mean, I feel bad for that guy.
What?
No? But no,
Oh,
just wait. Let me catch up with the chat quickly. Right. Ox says light brown. Your mum says purple. Cynthia McDonald says green. And Jer says brown like shit. Mum Ray says that is an awesome question, and I'll say purple.
Color.
Jens says muddy brown, but Trump thinks it's white. Ugh. Spooky says off-white. Your mum
What?
says
What?
white with a hint of orange.
Why would you
Brainbugs-
say white though? What?
I think they're getting onto the race question,
Yeah.
which is slightly disturbing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
jeez.
Brainbug says
I kind of went more
green.
the route.
We're trying to go with the abstract concept, but I really know where you're coming
Yes.
from. Stool says
America
sun-dried
was-
jizz.
What?
Wait a minute. Does nobody, Dave? Nobody has a positive like color. Like it's not like
At the moment,
It's
beautiful.
fuchsia. Fuchsia with
I mean,
glitter
America
because
is something.
Americans
Yeah,
love
I'm
the
kinda going with
gays. Rainbow glitter, that's what it is.
What'd you say,
Rainbow-
Mel?
Rainbow glitter, it's fuchsia with rainbow glitter because America loves the gays.
Is that how you feel about it?
No,
No.
we're booger green, and we're trying really
I mean,
hard to deal
my
with an
goodness,
infection.
if I thought America was like rainbow happy, like man, that'd be awesome. But like, come on,
I know we would have
that's just.
better
I mean,
hair.
obviously, it's not a rainbow. It's like shit. It's shit brown. Okay, that's my answer.
We're fighting explosive diarrhea right now, and you know, booger like snot. It's like
Maybe-
both
maybe-
ends, you know.
Green diarrhea.
It's projectile diarrhea.
It's projectile diarrhea and snot at the same time. It's not pretty.
oh my god, I gotta go. Right, Brainbreak says white. Cold as fuck says I know the answer, but I don't think I should
Who
say.
here?
What?
Who here has ever been hit by projectile diarrhea?
Projectile diarrhea.
Hit by it.
I haven't been hit
Don't
by it, but
think
I've
so.
actually been a person. who's
I have
experienced
changing a
it.
diaper.
I mean, I hit myself in the leg with projectile diarrhea myself, but that wasn't. Does that count as hit by?
No,
Well,
it was so.
I
It
guess
was so bad it
technically, yeah.
cut my cleavage.
Oh,
What?
I was changing a diaper and I got hit by shit, and it was all in my cleavage. It was that bad.
Oh my
Ew.
god. Jeez.
I swear.
Ox says red for the blood on its hands. Santi says sod off Dave. What did I do wrong? Harmonica Man says the colour of stupid. Apparently Stool says sun-dried jizz was positive. Aunt
The
Jer
color
says,
is stupid.
the colour of stupid.
Orange.
Aunt Jar says I changed my answer to burnt orange. Yeah, Cynthia says, oh, should have answered literally, racially, or politically. Well, I was trying to do it metaphorically.
I mean, come on. White is like the worst answer to that question. Like,
It is very much the worst
Jeez.
answer to that question. The problem is that right now it does seem that half of America fucking thinks that.
yeah, that's true.
The DNA test solves it for me. So half black, weirdly, Irish and Spanish, and brown is beautiful. Fair enough. Jen says America is definitely not rainbow at all. Neither is the UK. I think the UK is doing better than America at the moment, but not by much. Harmonica Man says
I can't.
Go on. Chris?
Oh, I was gonna say, I can't think of another country in the world that's like worse than America right now.
Right now,
No, like honestly,
oh no, North
India.
Korea. I would say North Korea.
In,
is
No,
in,
no,
terms, in terms of what? In terms of what?
maybe North Korea. I've been to India. It's fine. We don't have all that. There's not all that
Right.
bullshit where like 50% of the people are idiots.
Well, right now there's a problem going on in India with a lot of the religious tension between the Muslims and the Hindus over there. They've got quite a nationalistic movement thing going under Modi. So,
Yeah.
and
Of
both
course,
sides
it's not.
got- and both sides.
Yeah.
got
Is it
nukes.
even close to 50-50 though? That's the problem with America. Is like,
no, that's why they're more
50,
genocidal.
like-
They're not 50-50. They can kind of got the majority, so it has more genocide potential. That's
well,
the danger.
okay, yeah,
Shush.
that makes sense, Chad. Okay,
Shush,
you win.
shush. Right, Ox says use toilet paper, pecan tan. Ricardo says America doesn't have a colour, it's a colour wheel, 50 segments being held in place at the moment by an orange pin.
Oh my god.
Stool says burnt
I did.
pubes. Ox says eggshell white better. No, not really.
Burnt pubes.
That's more of a smell
Rainbow
than it
says-
is a color.
Rainbow,
Or a
yes.
sensation.
Rainbow says, are you assuming people are putting white for racial reasons? Yes. If you have a non-racial
Yeah,
reason
no.
for saying white,
Oh
what is
my
it?
god.
If you burn pubes, it goes from like, well, if you're like me, it goes from like black to white at the end.
2
So-
seconds.
Have
God
you
the sewing.
burned your
Then it smell.
pubes? That's my question now. I need to know, Chris. Have you like burned your pubes for science?
No, but when I was a stupid kid, I burnt my hair on purpose, and then jumped into a pool. And like, what happened was
You
like,
set your hair on fire.
was
is what
like-
you're saying.
it stayed like, yeah, but it like stayed black, but the end turned white. So that means the color of burnt pubes is black and white. And then the smell was the
What if your pubes are red? What color would it be?
red.
We're going to have to ask Math Pig.
Math Pig
And it
has
smells
red
really
pubes.
bad. It smells really bad. Burning hair is
Yeah,
not a
burnt
fun
hair is
thing.
nasty. Yeah.
Godless Sewing says, I think a DNA test would help shut up most racists in America. Unfortunately, it wouldn't. I watched a white supremacist read their DNA test results, and they basically now think that the companies are lying to them to promote their agenda.
Was that the one on Trisha?
No.
Okay.
So it's weird because the people I interact with, I'm like an 8th Cherokee Native American. I have English and Irish descent, but it's like people don't think about the fact that America is very much a melting pot. But they don't think about their heritage, and they think, oh well, I'm super freaking white. I'm like, well, yes, I look super freaking white, but my great grandmother hid under the bed while her like family was, I'm not even gonna get into all that, but anyway. But it's just it's like they completely forget and neglect their own personal heritage, and it's something like people of color don't really have because the slavery thing and being brought over here. It makes me nuts. I'm not gonna bring down the thing, but it just makes me so mad.
Well, like Mel, America is definitely a melting pot. Like I used to live in like China, and I live in Vietnam now, and they're only like I would say like 0.5% of the people here are white, or less than that, probably 0.1%. It's like very racially, it's
homogeneous,
not a melting pot at all, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, America is a melting pot. You do have that mix. I think that's a good thing about America.
I mean that, and people forget that. They're like, well, I'm white and I'm like this part of this master system, but are you though? It's like you got Native American and you going on. There's stuff going on here. You're a culmination of people moving to a completely different continent in order to better their lives. That's way.
Are you talking about like genetics? Kind of like how like.
No. I want to jump in here quickly if I can, just because
a little bit.
In Canada, maybe we have a slightly different perspective, but there's always this big idea that America is the melting pot. But even going through like junior high, elementary school, through social studies, we were always taught that America was the melting pot and Canada is the mosaic. The idea is that like when you go to America, you're supposed to be American. What is that? So
yeah,
it's this idea of getting rid of one's own culture and ignoring that in the favor of adopting the white supremacy in some sense. This is the status quo, adopt it please. And that's kind of more of a modern lens on it. But really this idea of a melting pot is about, hey, let's take your culture and get rid of it and make it nice and monogamous. It's not the best idea in the world.
That's certainly fair. And
but America is more of a melting pot than almost any other country in the world, I would say. Maybe like Singapore is more diverse, or
I think the idea is that trying to take what you can from the best backgrounds that you have in order to build a life that you can do in whatever country. But I don't know. I sit here and I look at my ancestry and I'm like, okay, I have, relatives who are descendants of Sir Walter Raleigh, and then I have like Cherokee Indians, and I have all of these other things. But that's nice and that's great that I have that heritage. But what I do with that, what does that actually mean? That I make myself some kind of superior person because I'm white and I do these things. It seems like it's very arbitrary.
Well, the further the way you get from those particular individuals that you can cite, the less it means. Okay.
I mean,
if I want to go back into my ancestry, I can. We have written records that my earliest relatives on this continent were some of the fur trappers up in Canada.
I mean, so it's like,
But am I Canadian? No.
no, it's weird. So it's like
Yes.
if you go back far enough in my ancestry, we started as Irish, but we also have Scottish roots, and so it's like you have that on just one side,
Mhm.
and then I have a Polish side, and then I also have a Native American side, and so it's like you have all this, but after a while, what does that actually mean? I could actually, qualify for benefits because I'm an 8th Cherokee. My great grandmother was a Cherokee Indian. I visited her and she was really old, whatever. But it's like, what does that mean? It doesn't really hold a lot of weight
No.
outside of, your heritage, which is really important. But what do you do with that?
Well, it's up to how it makes you feel,
Mhm.
I mean, I come from a family where on one side I can trace them all the way back to like the 1400s. And then there's another branch of the family where it's my mom, my grandmother, then question mark. But on her dad's side, don't even know who he was. One night stand, So she spent all of her life longing to have a dad. And I spent all of my life longing to know who my granddad was, where did we come from, because I felt like I had no identity. Like I did one of those DNA tests, and I made up of every freaking thing you could possibly think of.
Like
So
what?
I'm
Like what?
wait,
Okay. But don't want to. I want to try and bring it back to the question.
okay.
How dare you?
Dave,
How
how
dare
dare
you, Dave?
I was
The
Dave
problem-
on
Dave,
top.
you just need to start talking about racism and shit because the answer to the question that the audience said was white.
But the worst thing is, the first person that said
Terrible
white,
answer.
the first person that said white, has pointed out that they didn't mean it in a racial sense. They
Oh,
meant it.
what the hell do they mean?
They meant in the sense that they weren't going to give it over to the red or the blue.
What about the second
Like
person?
you're talking about red, blue, Republican, Democrat.
Yes. So as opposed to it being
But-
red, white, and blue.
But why wouldn't you then? You just mix. What happens if you mix red and blue?
No.
Purple?
America is
Have you ever
talked about as
tried
being the
Play-Doh?
red, white, and the blue.
You play with Play-Doh, you
Okay.
get brown.
Oh, okay,
Don't play
fine.
that game.
So it's just a misunderstanding. But yeah, so yeah, we're just talking about like racist stuff.
No, but don't forget,
Let's
there's been lots of discussion about racism and the whiteness because of this within the chat.
Well,
We
I
haven't
just thought
gone off
white
on
was
a
a
wild
fair
sense. I just have to try and catch up.
Everything is effed up. I'm trying not to drop an F bomb on your channel, Dave.
You can
I mean,
say
you're good.
fuck as much as you want.
I did one like an hour ago.
God the Sewing says America's
America!
colour is racism.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Santi says heritage is completely pointless. I mostly agree with that.
Dave, why do you ask these questions that don't have like the correct answer? Like this wouldn't be like a good trivia night.
No, it's not
This
trivia.
is college, Chris. This is just like college.
The best
You not-
questions don't have answers. The best questions are the ones you find answers to. Come on, what's your for?
I don't know what college is.
You don't know what college is. That's
Right, we need to do
College
another
is-
question, otherwise we're not going to end.
College is
Okay,
We
yeah.
need to end soon.
Yeah.
4 to 8
This
years.
is Dave's
How-
fault. It's Dave's fault. We're gonna blame.
I
Dave
go with
for
shit
everything.
brown. I go with shit brown because America's a big mess right now.
Diarrhea green.
Right.
Shit green. Okay.
Right. Question 1149. If you had to live with a kids' TV character for the rest of your life, who would you pick?
God.
A kid's TV character?
Yes.
From any era?
Sure.
From any era? Like, we go back to the 90s if we want to?
Yes.
I'm just gonna put this right here,
Alright.
just like
Mr.
forever.
Rogers.
Do you mean kids TV character?
Mr. Rogers.
You mean like a character who?
See, I don't
Stars
know
in
whether
the show.
Mr. Rogers counts.
He's.
Mr. Rogers is a real human being.
Is
He's
it?
like,
Yes.
I mean,
it's
but
not-
he did children's shows. Don't.
yes, but he's
Yeah,
not a
you know,
No,
character.
but he's not a character.
He
He's
is
not
a
the
character.
No, the things that
Well,
he
he-
had were characters.
Things.
Mr.
I'm
Rogers
with you now. I agree
is
with
not
you.
really like that in real life. He's acting.
Right there. Cynthia says She-Ra. Ox says Barney. Reddit says Barney. Gold as Fuck says Gordon the Gopher. Cold as Fuck, don't you think that where Scientist Mel is looks like the broom closet? Jen says Danger Mouse. Never Again says Pooh. Stool says Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
Who?
And Cindy says, okay, how about Daniel Tiger? Who's Daniel Tiger?
He's from Mr. Rogers because
Oh.
Mr. Rogers is amazing, and everybody should kneel before Mr. Rogers for he should be a saint.
Is
But
he that
he's
sort of
not
person
Catholic.
that everyone should kneel before him?
Oh my God! If we
Mr.
had
Rogers is amazing.
okay, so
No
I
question.
did a stream just on how Mr. Rogers educates people,
Mhm.
and people do their entire thesis just on his connection and educating the public about different things during the time of the civil rights movement, where you had so much societal unrest like we see now in the U.S. He wasn't in the streets, protesting, but he created a character on his show of a policeman and said, I want a black man to play a policeman. And so they would come in and he would sit there. And at the time, there was so much segregation. He was like, you know what? They weren't allowed to swim in the same pools, drink from the same water fountains. And so he's like, you know what? You look like you've had a really long day. How about you take your shoes off and share this little, wading pool with me? And so he used his platform for activism to promote equality while he wasn't out on the streets saying, human rights, civil rights, all of that sort of thing. He still taught the masses on the importance of equality in the ways that he could. And he has still studied. He is still studied to this day on his work. So I love Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers is awesome. I had no idea. Like some
No,
people just
I
tell
I will
me.
die on that hill, man. I will die on that hill.
No, I had no idea. He's awesome.
Oh, he's
Cool.
legit awesome. He's been before Congress. Like, it's amazing. You can find it on YouTube. I'm sure of it. I'm going to take this opportunity and change the tone. I'm going to go with Butthead of Beavis and just
So-
because I think he's like legit people to hang out with.
So if you're gonna do what Butthead, then I'll have to do Daria.
Oh, no,
I mean, like, listen to the question. You got to be with him your entire life.
Yeah.
I mean, just one little guy in the background.
yeah, but then he's gonna say diarrhea, cha cha cha, diarrhea, cha cha cha.
Beavis, don't they
Yes, we-
hall pass?
Right,
I am
Nerdy.
I'd rather be. I think I'd rather be a cornholio.
Nerdy says Donatello or Jimmy Neutron. Godless Sewing says Darkwing Duck. Nerdy says, oh, if the shit really ripped the fan, Penelope from Thunderbirds.
There
Cynthia
are
says
people who
everyone
are
should kneel to
aging
Mr.
themselves.
Rogers. Say again?
There are people who are aging themselves with their choices.
Yes, I think they're very much
Out
so.
there.
Nerdy says, I'd be quite tempted to borrow Jamie's magic torch at times. If I could go with Mr. Ben into his shop. I always thought that sounded really dodgy. Santi says Genie from I Dream of Genie. You can't have I Dream of Genie. That wasn't a kid's show. Spooky says...
Is the question...
I wanna
Can I
change
just
my
ask you
answer.
quickly? Is the question who you would want to be?
No, who you'd want to live with for the rest of your life.
Or who's the best? Oh, it's like
Butthead.
your companion.
Well, not...
Oh, okay.
I've lost track of where I am here. Spooky says Jane from Rod, Jane and
Sorry,
Freddy. I'm not sure you can have that. Harmonica Man says Arnold from Different Strokes. You can have that. He would be Arnold the entire time, obviously. He wouldn't grow up. Ox says Hank Hill. I need cheap propane. Is King of the
Hey,
Hill
Gil,
a
come on,
kids?
that guy sucks.
Bobby!
Is King of the Hill
Boy,
a kids' TV show? A kids' TV character?
Not really, no. Mike Judge is amazing, but that is not a kid's show. Just like The Office is not a kid's movie.
Again, Ox says Brian the dog from Family Guy. Again, Family Guy is definitely not a kids' TV show.
No, that's not.
All right, can I go, Dave?
Go on.
Okay, so I was thinking that my second favorite would be Not Hank from King of the Hill, but Dale, the guy who just drinks beer and he's little.
We can't have King of the Hill. King of the Hill's not kids'
Yeah.
TV character.
Okay, but then I changed my answer. Number one is SpongeBob because that guy's awesome. He's just happy all the time. And he's like, let's go on an adventure. Like, if I was a SpongeBob, yeah.
I think he's drunk all the time, though.
SpongeBob?
I think he's on drugs or drunk all the time.
It sounds
Who
like
knows?
it.
He's so damn happy. Like, if I would love to be hanging out with SpongeBob.
Can you? But would you be Patrick? That's the thing.
No.
SpongeBob has a really
No,
hard
I'm
time.
me. I'll just put on like a scuba mask or whatever.
Well, are you Sandy or Patrick? Because he seems to have issues with people who are smarter than him. Look how he behaves with Squidward.
Oh yeah, he gets very sad sometimes too.
He does.
Okay, well I want to
Nobody
be.
picked the Teletubbies. Nobody
No.
wants the Teletubbies hanging out with them in the really weird station with the new sucking
No.
up all their stuff off the floor. Nobody wants
No.
that.
No.
No, and it bothers me that you know so much about it.
Yes, I know. Mel, do you want one of the Teletubbies?
I do not. I think I would rather put a bullet in my head than have to deal with the Teletubbies.
Why did you bring it up, or did someone else bring
I'm
it up?
just. It's a
Santi
kid
says.
show.
Santi says Chitara from Thundercats. Spooky says any of the Clangers. Rainbug says SpongeBob. Nerdy says I watched
You like it,
Avengers.
Rainbug?
No, you can't have Avengers. Harmonica Man says Jessica Rabbit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was not a kid's film, was it?
Not a kid's
I
show.
think it was.
It was a family film.
It's a
I'm
family
just
film.
drawn that
It was a
way.
family film.
It's
Now you got me.
Jessica Rabbit
Are
is
we
just as
talking about
much as
films
a
or TV
kid's
shows?
cartoon as Betty Boop was. Come on, man. And Betty Boop was flashing
Yeah.
vag in a couple of her cartoons. Let's be honest here.
Right, need answers because we've got so little time left. Jenny,
I would second whoever nominated Daphne from
Lone
I don't
Wanderer,
even know who that is.
Tintin.
Scooby Doo. Say again. Tintin.
Tintin.
Tintin's a good answer. Mel, given that you can't have Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers. And if people don't like him, I don't care.
He's not a
she's gonna
kid's
die on
TV
that cross.
answer.
I will die on that hill.
You
I
can't
will
have
die on
Mr.
that-
Rogers.
No, is there like a documentary on Mr.
Why
Rogers?
can't I have Mr. Rogers? He was on PBS. And
Because he's
kids
not a
show.
No, of
kid's
course you
TV
can't.
character.
Yes,
No, he is. Xavier's wrong.
No, he's a presenter.
No, he's
No,
a
no,
presenter.
because no, but he's not being. He's not Mr. Rogers. He's an actor. So, like, are you saying it has to be a cartoon character?
Oh my God! Don't make me put my head through the wall.
It's
Mr.
like I wouldn't let
Rogers
you have
did
Jim
children's
Henson, but I'd let you
shows.
have a Muppet.
Oh my
Are you
God.
saying it can't be a human?
Okay, all right. So, okay, here's my option. So, my friends who know me really well say, no wonder the world disappoints you. Your role models are Mr. Rogers and Kermit the Frog. So, Kermit the Frog then. I guess.
Kermit the Frog. That works.
Kermit the Frog. Okay.
Chad. Let's go. Chris. You already answered.
What? I'm going SpongeBob.
Yeah. Chad. He's gone weird.
He's muted still. Tad.
He did say for Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, he did. You're right. My bad. Okay, we're done then. Right.
I was thinking
Quinn.
also of like picking Rocky Rocky the Flying Squirrel.
That'd be quite fun.
I mean, I'd probably outlive him, so at least I could have a sandwich at some point.
Is that's not the same as Rocky and Bullwinkle, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Rocket J Squirrel.
Yeah, Robert, you going?
Dave, is that the end of the questions?
I'm just going to say, no, one more question. Mathpick says, it's clearly Dexter from Dexter's Lab. No. And we lost Chad.
It's
completely.
laboratory.
Right. Last question. Question 1150. Would you rather have a van? Oh, let him reconnect first if he's going to. Not. Question 1150. Would you rather have a van that can take you anywhere in time and space, or a magic ring that when it touches a book allows you to absorb all the knowledge inside?
Oh,
All the knowledge. All the knowledge.
Dave, that's a good question.
Y'all
That's
let
our
me
last
know when
question.
you're ready for my answer.
So,
Go-
Lone
I
Wanderer
don't
says
have
the
my
ring.
I gotta think about it.
Jenny,
Would the going anywhere be like instant?
relatively, yes.
So like I blink my eyes and now I'm on Pluto.
But you've got to van. But it would be effectively, say, several hours to get to Pluto in
Oh
the year
no,
2000.
give me the ring.
You mean like the Magic School Bus, but with like a hyperdrive?
Well, see,
Yeah, but
comparisons have been
I'll take
drawn.
the ring.
Comparisons have been drawn, although it is completely unrelated, with a TARDIS.
You read the chat. You
No.
dirty, dirty man.
No, I didn't. What's the chat say? Wait there.
Yeah, Dave's been dirty. What do you mean he's dirty?
The chat doesn't say anything about a TARDIS.
I posted a thing about the TARDIS there. And
Oh, you
I
did,
feel like-
TARDIS yo.
Yeah.
My bad. I didn't see that.
Someone
Isn't
had
the
to
TARDIS
fix you.
the time traveling machine, right?
It's anywhere in time and space.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so like, would I rather have like a van that can take me to like Proxus Centauri in like 1 hour, or have a ring that lets me know everything in the world?
No, every book you touch.
I would read every book, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wouldn't all of a sudden know all the answers to the physics and shit that nobody
Well,
knows.
no, but you could go to a library and spend a few days there, and you would know everything in the
But you
library.
could freaking read the book.
No, but I wouldn't. But I wouldn't know the stuff that we don't know, right? Like,
No.
okay.
Right, so quickly read the chat.
But
What
you
the
don't
hell?
know what you don't know.
I knocked over my camera.
Apparently so.
Oh, goodness.
Ox says the ring. Jen says the ring. Nerdy says, I'll have time and space, please, Bob. Especially if it's a camper van. Stool says, don't go around touching your ring on people's book. Scientist Mel says, TARDIS. Math Pig says, does the van come with a towel? I'm muting him.
I missed the question. I was having some internet problems.
Oh, the question was, would you rather have a van that can take you anywhere in time and space, or a magic ring that when it touches a book allows you to absorb all the knowledge inside? Nerdy says, come on, it can travel time and space and it doesn't take you any time to get anywhere. That's because it's not quite a TARDIS. But TARDIS does take you time to get there. It's just you can arrive at any time you want.
Time and space. Definitely.
My
My argument is long.
Cynthia says, oh, I'll take the ring, then I can wow everyone with all I know and shut down all the ignorant people. The van sounds quite TARDIS-ish. Godless Sewing says, the van, because I would just go back in time and borrow the ring. Ox says, bucket or composter? I'm confused. Jen says, does it include ebook? Yes. Cynthia says, no, we all compared the van to a TARDIS. No, it says, so all I do is travel to the place and time where somebody has the ring, kick them, steal the ring, and run away, so you have both. Spooky says, why is Dave so tough on Scientist Mel?
Because he
Mel.
challenges me, and I appreciate that.
Monica Man says the van. What happens if you take the van to the sun? You die. Santi, the van. Stool says the van. Mel.
I'm raising my hand. Okay, so I could take the van and go back to Alexandria before the library is burned and have all kinds of information that I could read over a period of time, and it wouldn't matter if I had the ring or not.
True. Ox says with the ring you could gain the knowledge to build the van. Only if there's a book been written about it.
Yeah,
Ricardo
you can't, because that doesn't work. There's nothing there about time traveling vans, so I'd have to have that.
I'm going to argue. I'm going to go ahead and just make a really good argument for van if I'm coming through correctly here. I'm going to go ahead with van because you can only experience so many things in your life, and if the only thing you could experience were old ideas, then through books, then you would never have a new one. So you got to go with the new experiences, time and space.
Go on, Chris.
Yes, but it is upon.
Okay, I think I have the real answer to this question.
Upon the
So,
shoulders of giants that we.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
Go carry
What?
on, Chris. You're lagging really badly.
Okay. Oh, really? I was gonna say I don't want to know I don't want to read every book because then I would know everything, and then I would have nothing else left to learn.
No,
So that would suck
you
ass.
only know what
Like,
you know.
I would know
You would only
everything,
know what you
and then
know.
yeah, but like part of my motivation is to like learn stuff. Like I enjoy learning things, and if I would immediately learn everything, then I'd probably just kill myself. And so I'd rather have the van and like take it to, I don't know, Alpha Prox whatever the hell the nearest one is, and like I don't know what's the Alpha Prox, what the hell is it called?
Proxa Centauri.
Fuck my.
Yeah. Proxy Centauri. Yeah, I'd rather take the van there and like
I've forgotten.
I'd rather do that and like explore. I'd rather do that and explore and like enjoy my life and be excited. I mean, man, if you just knew everything, that's boring. So,
Right, Jenny.
I'll go for the ring.
Yeah.
Would you?
Do I have to have a reason?
Why?
Why?
Yes.
God, nosy.
No.
you're so nosy, Dave.
Because
My apologies.
by learning everything you know, what humans know, you could build the tomorrow that others are speaking of, because it is upon the shoulders of giants that we proceed.
Well said.
Fair enough. Very good. Right, we're done. We survived it just about. That's a really long episode. Very,
It really was.
Yeah, oh, man.
We're all very petty.
5:30 a.m. Thanks, Dave.
No one forced you.
I say thank you very much to Chris, to Mel, to Chad, to Jenny, and to the Lone Wanderer. You should subscribe to all these people.
When I get
and-
YouTube.
you get YouTube. And I say thank you to all of them, and I say thank you to everyone in the chat for coming. And we will. What day is it? Is it Friday or Tuesday?
Friday.
It's Friday
It's
here.
Friday. In which case, we will see you next
Saturday.
Tuesday. It's not Saturday. Shush! Don't confuse me.
Catch you next Tuesday.
We will catch you all next Tuesday. If you have links, put them in the chat, because I haven't put them in the description yet. I will do later. Other than that, we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.